you're watching, learning, feeling, will you stay with us? Just one click to subscribe means everything.
Inculcating healthy habits is of paramount importance for becoming a successful individual. Physical health forms the foundation of overall well-being, and by prioritizing regular exercise, nutritious eating, and adequate sleep, healthy habits also play a significant role in fostering mental resilience and reducing stress. Furthermore, healthy habits have a direct impact on one's confidence and self-esteem, as achieving personal health goals instills a sense of accomplishment. This newfound confidence can translate into greater success in professional endeavors, as it encourages individuals to take on new challenges. But how does one go about inculcating these healthy habits? What are the practices that we can adopt so that we can be on our path to success? Addressing these challenges has been a major part of what Stephen Covey has been able to achieve with his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. In this summary, we explore the essence of each habit, examining how its application can propel individuals towards personal effectiveness. It also gives us practical examples on how one can adapt these habits and elevate their impact in their personal and professional lives. Covey's timeless wisdom serves as a guiding light, illuminating a path towards achieving enduring success. This exercise in envisioning life without the usual trappings is meant to spark a process of soul searching, leading readers to understand the deeper meaning and purpose behind their actions and decisions. Covey's intention is to inspire all of us to align our lives with our authentic values and aspirations, fostering a sense of purpose and fulfillment that goes beyond superficial achievements. Ultimately, by recognizing and embracing what you truly desire most, you are encouraged to make conscious choices and live a life that is more purposeful and in tune with your inner selves. You are listening to a review of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, written by the American educator and author Stephen Covey. This book was released in the year 1989 and was published by Free Press Publishing. Everyone wants to succeed, but what makes some succeed and others fail? First off, what defines success? While others may find that they have found financial success, they may find that they are empty in other areas of life, such as in their relationships or in developing personal effectiveness. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People begins by looking inward and starting from the inside out. As a society, we attempt to create lives on social media that are aimed to portray happiness and near perfection. And considering social media is a mere highlight reel of a person's life, we may find ourselves altering our appearances on the outside while struggling internally. Through his thought-provoking writing, Covey poses profound questions to all of us, urging us to reflect on our core values and deepest desires in life. He encourages individuals to contemplate a scenario where everything they currently possess or cherish is suddenly taken away, leaving them with nothing. By confronting this hypothetical situation, Covey challenges us to discover what truly matters to us, at the essence of our being. Here is a selection of the 7 habits described in the book at a glance. The first habit is be proactive. Take responsibility for your actions and reactions. Be proactive rather than reactive, focusing on what you can control and influence to create positive outcomes. Next habit is begin with the end in mind. Start with a clear vision of your desired end goal or objective. Visualize what you want to achieve and use that vision to guide your actions and decisions along the way. Number 3, put first things first. Prioritize your tasks and activities based on importance and urgency. Focus on your high priority tasks that align with your goals and manage your time effectively to avoid distractions. And number 4, think win-win. Seek mutually beneficial solutions in your interactions and relationships. Aim for outcomes that benefit all parties involved, fostering collaboration and cooperation. To delve more deeply into all the 7 habits mentioned in the book, you have to pick up a copy soon. Now, let us delve into some key concepts that Covey has been able to explore through the medium of his brilliant book. The first key concept is embracing empathy. Imagine going to the optometrist and explaining to the doctor that you are struggling to see signs that are far away. Then, the optometrist takes off his own glasses and hands them to you, saying, "These have worked for me for years. Try them on. They should work for you." No questions asked. No tests are done. The doctor just offers a simple solution that most likely won't help. You wouldn't go back to that doctor. You can't trust him. Now, think about yourself going through a trying time in life. Divorce, the death of a loved one, the loss of a job. Who do you seek advice from? Someone that has never been in your shoes and can't possibly understand what you're going through? Or someone that understands your situation? The second option, right? You trust people that listen to you and understand you. Whether it's a doctor or a friend, you trust people that understand what you're going through. And the key to understanding is through listening. If the doctor listened to you, he would know better how to help you rather than just giving you a random pair of glasses to solve your problem. Speaking of listening, the most effective form of listening is empathic listening, which requires a paradigm shift to achieve. You see, we don't typically seek to understand first. Instead, we seek to be understood. At any given moment, a person is either speaking or preparing to speak, rather than preparing to understand. Empathic listening involves experiencing someone else's frame of reference by listening to their body language, tone, expression, and feelings. It also means completely removing the goal of listening for the purpose of forming a response or making a connection. Instead, you should focus on understanding the other person so you can earn their trust. We should listen empathically instead of forcing our natural responses onto each situation. If we do this, we can go beyond transactional exchanges and have a significant impact. Satisfy the need to be understood, and you can move on to being productive. This habit is powerful because it is always in your circle of influence to initially understand and then be understood. When people understand each other, the door is open for positive outcomes. If we replace our typical responses with empathic listening, you will see that you shouldn't necessarily focus on words to truly understand the other person. Instead, you should observe a conversation through the feeling and meaning behind the words that are said. With words removed, what emotions are being conveyed? While this skill takes time and practice, it's certainly not impossible to learn how to listen empathically. Once you master the skill of seeking to understand, then you can focus on being understood. When we truly understand the other person, we can adequately communicate and present our ideas in a way that builds credibility and trust rather than tearing the other person down. The next concept explored in this book is perfecting the art of practice. Chefs use their knives every day. They constantly chop, slice, and dice, eventually making their knives dull. Do they just throw the knives away and buy new ones? No, they just sharpen them. Just like a chef's knife, we have to sharpen ourselves as well. We must devote time to ourselves physically, spiritually, mentally, and socially. By sharpening your saw in these 4 areas, you can see the results for lasting effectiveness. Renewing yourself physically means eating well, getting sufficient rest, and exercising regularly to build flexibility, endurance, and strength. Staying physically active helps to sharpen one's proactivity. You have to become proactive towards your fitness rather than reacting to the forces that keep you from exercising. To stay mentally healthy, you can read great books, keep a journal of your thoughts and insights, and limit television programs to only watching those that enrich your life and mind. You can also learn a new language or take courses to learn something new. There are a variety of ways to enrich yourself mentally. Additionally, focusing on mental health will help you practice this habit since you will be utilizing your time management skills to maximize your time and resources. A habit is something practiced repeatedly, so you need time to recharge yourself before practicing the other habits. This means making time for activities that restore your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional states. Covey provides an example to emphasize this point. He describes a woodcutter who had been struggling to cut down a tree for hours. A young man who was watching suggested the woodcutter take a break and sharpen his saw. The woodcutter replied that he was too busy to stop. The young man explained that the woodcutter could cut the tree down far quicker if he took a break and sharpened his saw. This solution might be obvious to us as well. But how often do we hit a wall, burn out, or keep grinding along without taking the time to work on our skills, knowledge, or emotional and physical health? The lesson from this story is that taking time to improve yourself will save you time in the long term. Lastly, it is important to work on your social and emotional health. Renewing yourself socially to develop meaningful relationships means you must seek to understand others, make contributions to meaningful projects that improve the lives of others, maintain an abundance mentality, and help others achieve their own success. The next concept that Covey talks about is the win-win mindset. Explaining this concept, Covey defines a win-win mindset as always looking for a third alternative to the me or you approach. Try thinking about your relationships as emotional bank accounts. By proactively making deposits, you ensure that the emotional funds will be there when the time comes to make a withdrawal. Win-win is often challenging but is made much easier by creating a hefty emotional bank account. Things like being kind, keeping commitments, and showing empathy are all ways to grow your relationship's emotional bank account. To better understand what a win-win decision is and how it is structured, Covey provides the following characteristics associated with the 3 essential character traits. Number 1, integrity. Staying true to your values and commitments. Number 2, maturity. Expressing your ideas with confidence but also considering the views of others. And number 3, abundance mentality. Believing there is plenty for everyone. Covey emphasizes that you should not sacrifice these assets that facilitate long-term productivity just for the sake of results. He retells a famous fable to explain this point. It tells the story of a farmer who kills a goose that lays golden eggs in order to get more eggs right away. But he soon realizes it was a mistake because now he won't get any more eggs. The lesson from this story is that assets that support production should be valued more than production itself. This is the section where I tell you about the essential takeaways that we can find in this book. The first takeaway is the power of being proactive. Imagine life is just a book with blank pages. If you had the opportunity to write your own story, what would you want it to say? If your life were to end today, what would the book contain? Would the book contain stories of a person who accomplished nothing because you were a victim of your environment? Or would the book contain stories of a person who took action despite their physical environment? In a major section of the book, Covey asks us to adopt the principle of ownership. We can take control of our lives. It's so easy to place blame on others for the status of our lives, but it becomes futile. It's not my fault, and I had no control over what happened, are common phrases that we say when we find ourselves in sticky situations. But when we start to take ownership of our lives, we adopt a new principle, and our world begins to change. The principle of ownership forces us to admit that we let ourselves go, but it also forces us to take ownership of the successes in our life. This paradigm shift begins the habit of being proactive. People who are proactive take action. They take responsibility in their life and assume ownership. For instance, proactive people don't wait for a diagnosis to make a healthy lifestyle change. They don't wait for their boss to give them instructions. Instead, they identify the problems and come up with solutions. They actively listen to the people in their lives and don't wait for a fight to begin communicating effectively. Once you realize that you have a blank book to write, you can begin filling it with what you wanted to say. Focus on finding solutions instead of blaming outside forces for your problems, and begin changing the way you react to the problems in your life. Take responsibility, take ownership, and begin filling your pages with stories of someone that took action. The next takeaway is the significance of synergy. Everyone is different, right? The world would be a pretty boring place if we all thought similarly and we couldn't learn from one another. In fact, we need one another. Covey challenges the self-help literature's support of individualism and independence. He believes that independence creates obstacles to teamwork. He describes synergy as something that may be impossible to understand unless you have experienced it. Synergy happens when a group of people enter a simultaneous and cooperative state of flow. Covey defines this as the peak experience of group interaction. By understanding and valuing the difference of another's perspective, you create the opportunity for synergy. Synergy is a concept that the combined value of each individual will be greater than if the individual remained independent. In other words, two heads are better than one. While each person thinks differently, each person offers something that can benefit the greater good. Synergy allows you to open yourself up to new opportunities and endless possibilities. Synergy allows you to listen to one another's differences and determine how to come together to tackle a shared challenge. By valuing the different perspectives and opinions that each person has, you can begin to build something greater than yourself. For instance, a great movie isn't created by one person. Look at movies like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Without a team of creators, designers, writers, and more, the movies would never come to life as they do. Each team member has their own strengths that they bring to the table that benefits the project as a whole. By valuing the emotional and psychological differences between people, you can begin synergizing and creating something bigger than you ever could on your own. The last key takeaway is the importance of forethought. Imagine you're building a house from scratch. How would you begin this process? You would first envision what you want the house to look like, right? You determine the layout of the house and then figure out every detail. Construction workers would then follow the blueprint to begin building. Without this blueprint, what mistakes would they make? Perhaps they would forget a key element like the stairs. Now imagine your life as a blueprint. What is your end goal? What do you want to achieve? Planning is necessary for the success of any project, including your life. Here's where the principle of direction comes in. To begin with the end in mind, you need direction. Just like building a home, a direction is necessary for success. Effective people don't just work hard and expect success to fall upon them. Instead, they have a sense of direction in life. But how can you find that direction? Well, you can begin by imagining 30 days from now, your friends and family are attending your funeral. What would you want those people to say about you? What are they saying about how you lived your life? By determining what you want your friends and family to say about you, helps you realize what your life is centered around. Perhaps you are a family-centered, money-centered, work-centered, or even self-centered. By imagining the end of life, you can determine how you want to live. If you imagine your personal statement as the blueprint of your life, you can begin to take action with purpose and intention. Just like each brick has a purpose in building a house, your actions should have a purpose in helping you achieve your end goals. Covey says that to be an effective person, you need to have a principle center. Your principle center should be based on timeless, unchanging values. The principle center puts all these other centers in perspective. It also allows you to see that just like all the bricks in a house have a purpose, all of your actions have a purpose. The best way to make sure your life is aligned with your principles is to write a personal mission statement. Covey suggests approaching your personal mission statement from the perspective of roles and goals. Who do you want to be and what do you want to accomplish? An authentic mission statement is a key part of becoming effective. To know more about the takeaways from this book, go and pick up a copy at once. Now, let us look at some of the best quotes that you will come across in this book. The first quote is, "If I really want to improve my situation, I can work on the one thing over which I have control, myself." The next quote is, "Courage isn't absence of fear. It is the awareness that something else is important." And my favorite quote, "Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny." Stephen Covey was an internationally renowned author, speaker, and educator, best known for his influential work on personal and organizational effectiveness. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People remains his most sought-after work all around the world, even after decades since it was first published. Covey's teachings revolutionized the field of self-help and leadership development. His principles focused on integrity, empathy, and proactive thinking, empowering millions worldwide to lead purpose-driven and successful lives. Covey's enduring legacy continues to inspire generations and foster positive change globally. Now, let me read out some highly positive reviews the book has received, which may just persuade you to seek it out. The first review says, "What I really enjoy about this book is that the habits he describes are based on universal principles. Every religion uses these underlying ideas. They feel universal to me. I really appreciate how he describes win-win. I have not been living in a win-win situation, and it made so much sense. I want to begin living in a win-win mindset. It makes most sense, but will also take the most work. I must confess that I usually avoid conflict and then take the least conflicting way out. This came at the perfect time when I'm trying to get a business started. The book has inspired me to really work with these principles." And the next review says, "I bought this book to build my leadership skills. I've been reading this book for over a month now, and I'm really awestruck about the way the author had explained how to win over yourself first before you win for others. There are plenty of books out there on how to become an effective leader, managing workplace conflicts, making money, etc. But this single book covers all aspects of it by laying the foundation of being a principle-centered person from which they emerge. It is a must-read book for all. Now, here is my favorite review. In this hyper-capitalist world in which we have all been taught that independence is the highest value, I appreciate this book's message that interdependence is really what makes the world go round. Perhaps this is the psychological framework the world needs to climb out of its imbalanced power relationships and rebuild something more inclusive. Instead of the winner-take-all attitude that dominates, we can all begin thinking win-win. Though this is not a political book in any way, improved relationships between individuals can only improve the world at large. I highly recommend it. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People challenges us to reevaluate our values, priorities, and approach to life, promoting a proactive and principle-centered mindset. Covey's timeless wisdom remains a guiding light for those seeking to live purposefully, with integrity and intention. As you embrace these habits and integrate them into your daily lives, you embark on a transformative journey towards becoming a highly effective individual capable of leaving a positive and lasting impact on their own lives and the lives of others. By emphasizing the importance of beginning with the end in mind and aligning actions with a clear vision, Covey inspires us all to set meaningful goals and prioritize our tasks accordingly.
You're watching, learning, feeling. Will you stay with us? Just one click to subscribe means everything.
If your journey feels stuck, you're not alone. We've got you. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more curious minds discover this content. Subscribe to Being and Beyond and join a growing community that thrives on knowledge, perspective, and personal growth. And if this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Your support fuels our passion and pushes us to create better content. Welcome to Being and Beyond.